Why am I just adjusting to the planet now and not before? This is no longer the same Earth. This is a different Earth. I do see 4D as kind of like the bridge from 3D to 5D.
Yeah.
And it's like there's this pyramid, and the base of the pyramid is made up of 4 points. And then the 5 is the point at the very top of the pyramid. 5D is kind of like the perspective that we have of all the lower dimensions. I felt so guilty when I came back to eating animal products. But the reason I kind of felt better in a way is because of the way the ancestors of the land ate. They would eat animal products, but the connection that they had with the animals was so beautiful and so spiritual. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rising Gems podcast. This is an impromptu episode. It's going to be probably a bonus for you, but we were just completing a longer episode that we did about soul family and collaboration and friendships. And at the end of the conversation, I was sharing with Erica that I've been dealing with very bad allergies. And even right now, when we're filming this or recording this, I was feeling that my tongue was beginning to swell up in my throat and swelling throughout my whole body because of the allergies. And Erica and I were engaging in a conversation that I felt we could share with you. Erica, what I was saying is that I used to go out to the forest, to the park. I would go on walks and I would be totally fine. I never had allergies. That wasn't anything that I had to worry about because, it was like I was fine. And out of nowhere, when was that? Like in 2020, 2021. 2020, I think it was, like in the middle towards the end. That's when I started to experience all of these allergy symptoms. And one of the things I noticed, this is when the whole pandemic happened. So there's that. And then I do feel that during that whole process of the pandemic, there was a huge energetic shift that was taking within the earth. And so when you were telling me about how, because I am such an alien and I always share this with you, and you know that about me, that my body was beginning to adjust to the planet. And what I was thinking in that moment when you said that to me is that, well, why am I just adjusting to the planet now and not before? Because before, health-wise, I was doing great. I was doing amazing. And then what the message that I received, or like the visuals, or I don't even know how to describe this, but what I felt is that something took place energetically with the whole pandemic. And it's like the reason I am having a hard time to adjust, it's because this is no longer the same Earth, that this is a different Earth. What if this is the new Earth? And that's why a lot of people that are very spiritual and that are going through their own spiritual awakening journey, because I do hear that a lot of people do have health issues and they do struggle with their bodies, with adjusting and anchoring in the body, grounding in the body. And I've heard that more so recently after the whole pandemic and after this huge energetic shift. So I was wanting to get your perspective on this. Could it be that we're no longer on the same earth, and that's why personally I am having such a difficult time adjusting to this new frequency? Or is there anything that you perceive about this?
Yeah, I would definitely. It's so funny you mentioned the new earth, because I was actually thinking like maybe we could do a separate podcast episode on the new earth, because I have personally been experiencing a lot. I have not mentioned it to anybody because I just want to know, like, is this a permanent thing, or is this something that, I'm gradually adjusting to? But there's been a lot of 5D experiences, or the new earth experiences, that I've personally have been experiencing, whether it's been rapid manifestation, whether it's just the feeling that I have, the perspective that I have, the perception of earth that I have, because it's really hard to, show someone how you see the world. It's really hard to, let people know that, because we all have our own ways of seeing it. But yeah, I definitely feel that a lot of us are really adjusting. And you can kind of see it as like many people that have already awakened, or they're on the spiritual journey, that have been going through the transitions, the transmutations, the transformations, many are in the 4D. Many are, going through the filtering process, the purging process, the questioning process. This is like, you can kind of see like 4D consciousness is more of the questioning, the conspiracy theories, like really getting into that, like really, like you can become like anti-government within like the 4D. I mean, you can be anti-government even in 3D. So, but it's like the 4D is like this holding, I see it as like this holding space where you're kind of in it, and you're no longer in the 3D consciousness in the old earth, but you're not quite in the new earth or the 5D consciousness quite yet. So you're kind of like I see the 4D as like the in-between. So a lot of people go through a lot of experiences within the 4D, like what you were experiencing. So what it is we're purging a lot of this lower density energy out, because when you were younger, the energy wasn't as supportive to you to grow and to raise your vibration of your body. Where now, because of the energy that's coming to earth, it's triggering your body to react in certain ways that it didn't normally, because your body's having to release. And how your body purges is through allergies. It's through, maybe for some people it's inflammation, or some people it's crying your eyes out. Whatever it is, like there's so many different forms of purging. There's so many different forms of clearing. There's so many different forms of, filtering, so our bodies can get to this higher frequency. So if you are experiencing anything like Miroslava, it's completely normal. Like our body needs an adjustment, our energy needs an adjustment, so it can take time, and it can take, the more that you don't resist it. And I know, Miroslava, you're probably okay on this, because I know like you're like, I love sleeping, but making sure you're resting and making sure you're sitting in that feminine energy when you are experiencing these things is very important, because that's how your body heals. Meditation will really help. Just eating foods that are supporting you, that are higher vibrational, will really help as well. But yeah, there's definitely more and more people that are experiencing or stepping into the 5D and the new earth, and some are already on it. So it could, because of the way that they see the world. And that's the biggest thing with 5D and the new earth, is how do you see it? Do you see it as safe, or do you see it as something to fear? Do you feel love? Do you feel this higher consciousness? Do you feel higher vibrational? Do you feel like, because in 5D things manifest very quickly. Like what you think about manifests very quickly. So you can kind of see the 4D as like purging all the things that you wouldn't want to manifest and to release, in order to, like for example, I'm sure you're wanting to eventually manifest a healthy body. And so it will happen, especially in the 5D, you will be okay. It's just now I feel like your body is just going through this process of transmutation on its own.
I do see 4D as kind of like the bridge from 3D to 5D.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do feel that a lot of us are currently on that bridge and we're walking. And 5D, I do feel like I once saw someone doing this kind of perspective of like dimensions. And it's like there's this pyramid, and the base of the pyramid is made up of 4 points, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the lower dimensions. And then the 5 is the point at the very top of the pyramid. 5D is kind of like the perspective that we have of all the lower dimensions, but it's that we are seeing everything that is taking place in 3D, for example, in 4D, and we understand everything because we have that higher perspective. And I think that's where we are headed. And that's why a lot of people that are still kind of like so into the 3-dimensional experience, they are, it's like they can't see the higher perspective because we don't have that point of view yet. But when we are in 4D, I do feel that we are kind of crossing the bridge, and we're getting there, and we will get there eventually as a human collective. But individually, I do feel that a lot of us do have a 5th dimensional perspective already within a 3-dimensional experience. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I do believe that this is something that a lot of people are going through. And yeah, the whole body thing has always been, I think, an issue for me since I was very little. Like I was always, and I think another reason why this is happening to me is because I used to always reject the body. Like I hated my body, I hated myself. And I do feel that once I kind of entered a point of maturity, and also with my Saturn return and everything that's happening, I do feel that it was time for me to mend the bond that I have with my own body and to kind of reestablish the connection, and to, instead of being just spirit within a body, to be whole, to be complete, rather than seeing the essence of me and the body as two completely different things, which they are different things, but they have to work in unity within a dimensional experience like the 3D earth that we have. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. This is going to be just a quick video or a quick recording. But yeah, I think it's very important. And I do feel that if you resonate with my experience, definitely listen to your body and do what your body asks of you. Because, like Erica, you're vegan and you've been eating this way because it feels great to you. I was vegan for years and I actually stopped being a vegan. I think it was last year, 2021 or 2022. I stopped because I wasn't feeling good anymore. And I was having a lot of digestion issues, and I was just like, my body needed a change. And when I reintroduced like animal products, and I do this consciously, and there's a lot of good intention behind it, maybe this is something that we can talk about in another video, veganism and non-veganism and all of that stuff. But I listened to my body, and when I started eating this way, my digestion got so much better. And I was still experiencing the allergies when I did the change. So that's not something that has completely gotten better, but there were times before feel pain in my whole body for days, and I wasn't able to get out of my bed and to like engage and to do things before. But now, it's like when I'm being more conscious with the food that I'm eating, listening to my body, I do still get the allergy symptoms, but it's not as painful or as uncomfortable as it was in the past. So there's changes that I have made. I have listened to my body. I have done what I feel is right for me. And I advise you that you listen to your body, that you do what feels right to you. Eat what grounds you, what makes you feel high vibrational, whatever that may be. And yeah, continue on that path. And as long as you keep feeling better or you feel good, then that's always the way to go. But anyways, Erica, is there anything else that you want to say?
Yeah, and it's totally normal to fluctuate as well. Personally, before I went fully vegan like I am now, I've been vegan before, and then I slowly introduced meat again, and then I went pescatarian, then I went vegetarian, and I just realized that if we're going to talk about food, veganism, just it works so much better for my body, as opposed to you, Miroslava. You do much better currently with animal products in it. So I feel like it's really important to listen to your body. I know like the higher that your vibration rises, a lot of people tend to eat more fruits and vegetables. Doesn't mean you have to stop completely unless you resonate with veganism. I personally, like I mentioned, it just works. I feel the healthiest when I'm vegan, but I also eat very healthy as well. I don't eat a lot of the vegan substitutes, but sometimes, but not a lot. So it really depends on, I guess, why you're vegan. For me, it's one of the first things was health. That's why I went vegan, because I eat really healthy, or majority of the time I eat healthy. Once in a while I'll have a little snacky snack. But yeah, it's just making sure that you are just listening and trusting in your own body and what it's telling you. That's a very feminine thing. The feminine energy connects within. The feminine energy listens to what her body's telling her and obeys, because and I've been thinking about this a lot, because I'd eventually love to go raw vegan, and so it's really important to listen when it's time and do it.
Yeah, just one more thing that I wanted to add is, for example, with me, because you said that when we are higher vibrational, we do tend to lean more towards eating, like fruits and raw juices and lots of water, good water. And I do that still. Like now, most of what I eat are vegetables and fruits, and then I add, like the chicken and other things. But one thing that I wanted to mention, because I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but whenever I am very high vibrational, I do lean towards eating those things. But whenever, for example, like on full moons, or like when the energy is just so high, like what we experience with the Schumann resonance and all of that stuff, if I eat fruit, or if I do a water fast, if I eat those high vibrational raw things, foods, I fly away. I just yes, I can't
Yeah.
I can't stay in the body. So what I do is I go for the fatty foods, for the more I don't know how to explain it, but like the more meaty foods to keep me grounded. That's something that I wanted to share, because I don't know how other people feel, because I do hear most of the time that whenever you feel so high vibrational and the energy is so high vibrational, you do eat lighter, because that's the vibration, that's the frequency that resonates with the environment. But with me, when I do that, I just cannot get out of bed. I just feel so dizzy and so nauseous, and I start shaking a lot too. So because there's a lot of energy, so what I do is I have some heavier meals, and that keeps me grounded, that brings me back to the earth, because otherwise I do fly away. But yeah, have you ever felt that, like whenever the energy is so high, like you just start shaking and you have to ground yourself? You can do it with crystals, you can do it with the earth, grounding with your bare feet. I do it with food. That's how I ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely felt the lighter energy, but I don't know. I think, but yeah, it definitely has a lot to do with grounding. So that's your body's way, and some people like to do intuitive eating as well, where it's very similar to what you mentioned. It's like when you feel a certain way, you'll eat these foods. When your body's saying, oh, you know what, for you example, Miroslava, I might need chicken today, or I'm feeling guided to go eat chicken. Then that's, what your body needs. So it's just really important to listen. Like there's been times there has been times where like my body, especially more now, I crave veggies. Like I crave fruits and veggies, and I like to get as organic as I can, because the healthier that I eat personally, the better I feel. So like, and this is why like I love our connection, Miroslava, is because, and this can expand on the episode that we literally just recorded about friendships and soul tribe. Like, I'm not on you about being vegan. You're not on me about eating meat. We just respect ourselves. We respect each other, and we eat what we want to eat. And, and that's just the way it goes. Like there's an understanding there,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because there tends to be a lot of judgment. I know that one day I will go back to me eating vegan, and eventually I do want, try again the raw vegan and juices and all that stuff. But for now, this is the way my body wants to eat. But anyway, so I do feel that there's always a lot of judgment within spirituality and also within the vegan community. And I do feel that for myself, I felt so guilty when I came back to eating animal products. But the reason I kind of felt better in a way is because of the way my ancestors ate, the way the ancestors of the land ate. They would eat animal products, but the connection that they had with the animals was so beautiful and so spiritual. It was a mutual understanding. And so that's why I kind of was able to release the self-judgment that I had within myself, and I was able to just enjoy and to just be in the moment and to be grateful for the food that is nourishing my body, because that's what I felt my body needed in the moment.
I feel like, and of course this is coming from a vegan, but I feel like there's definitely differences between, us cherishing animals, loving animals, seeing the beauty that they bring into this life, being grateful for the offerings and the service and what they, are willing to go through for us, as opposed to the factory farming, which there's a lot of abuse and trauma, and there's a completely different thing. So if you do eat meat, and this is coming from a vegan, I'm not, I don't judge people that eat meat. I used to eat meat. So coming from a vegan, if someone was to ask me, okay, well, what would you suggest as far as like animal eating? I would say go as organic, is as much as you can find local farms where they actually truly love their animals, they take care of their animals, because we have to understand everything's vibrational. Just like organic fruits, a lot different vibrationally than conventional fruit. So if you are consuming fruit that came from a local farm where the chickens and the cows and the pigs and whatever is, roaming around happily, as opposed to being in cages and being beaten and burned and tortured, and there's a completely different, vibrational frequency. So whatever works for you, try to go as fresh, as pure and organic as possible, and then you'll be fine. Like vibrationally, you'll be okay.
And I mean, if you can't afford organic food and anything, you're still gonna be fine. And what I would advise you to do in that case, even if you're a vegan and you can't afford the more natural foods or organic, and you can only afford maybe processed foods, that is totally fine. And what I would advise you to do is to work with the energy, do it energetically, cleanse the food with your energy, with your intention, cleanse your body with your energy and your intention. When I cook meat, I talk to the spirit of the animal that I am cooking, and I know that sounds horrible, but it's like I communicate. There is this constant spiritual connection with what I am putting in my body, and it's always gratitude that I am expressing to the animal, because it is nourishing me, and it is because of that animal that my body is getting what it needs. But yeah, just wanted to say that we're just gonna end it here. Thank you for listening to us for this bonus episode. We hope you enjoy it, and yeah, we'll talk to you on the next episode.
Yes. Bye.